drone fans, Rick here again from Drone Valley with my weekly vlog update. So today I'm going to change it up a little bit and talk about a couple of new products that have been announced and some that are coming this week, as well as answer a couple of questions from users on the website and talk a little bit about an insurance product that I think you may find interesting at the end of this vlog. So the first thing I wanted to talk about was the ARGtek controller updates. I got a lot of questions from users about if I do this upgrade on my controller, I understand that it's going to give me fantastic downrange performance because I'm going to direct most of the signal down at my drone. The problem is if I'm trying to do an omnidirectional fly, like I'm flying near me, above it, or behind it, that could be affected by these extremely directional antennas. And I agree 100%. We spend a lot of time talking to manufacturers about users' concerns and things like that, and we're pretty close with the guys who make these from ARGtek. So we've been asking over the last couple of months, could you make a more directional antenna that would give the customer a compromise between having this directional antenna when they had to fly far out and having more of an omnidirectional stick when they wanted to fly close in. And lo and behold, they've come out with those. So what you're going to find now is the original kit will have the blades in it like this, or I should say the paddles in it like this. But there's going to be an upgrade to this called the Plus kit that will include both these directional antennas, the flat panels, and two of these omnidirectional antennas, and these fit on exactly the same basis. So this way, if you're out in the field and you want to do sort of long distance flying where you absolutely need as much power downfield as possible, you'll put the paddles on. If you're going to fly around yourself or in a close proximity to yourself, especially if it's behind you, you're going to swap those out for these. And they go on really easy, so they're basically just a matter of disassembling these guys. They just spin off finger tight. Once you remove those, slide these guys on all the way, make sure you get them on right, spin them up, and you're good to go. And then what it does for you is it gives you, again, the omnidirectional advantages of the paddle antennas, but in close. Now, these aren't quite as powerful, obviously, because they've got to amplify the power in a 360-degree pattern. These are just amplifying the power pretty much downfield. But I really like the versatility of having both styles of these antennas. And again, the way this will work is the original kit, we're going to sell that for a little less than we were selling it before. We're going to sell the Plus kit, which includes both the paddle antennas and these omnidirectional antennas, for a little bit more than the older kit. Now, if you've bought that original kit from us, just send me an email and we'll work with you to get you a set of these, very, very cheaply. I don't want to make any money on these for people that have bought the kit from me before. I'll just charge you for my cost on these plus the shipping, and that way I'll actually have the Plus kit. But I like that flexibility of being able to sell you just the directionals if you need them, or the full kit as the Plus kit, because that way you've got pretty much a versatile kit that you can use anywhere you need to fly. So pretty cool update there from the ARGtek guys. Now, I will be doing a complete review of the kit, and I know I've promised this for a while, but I will get to it this week to show with an EMF meter exactly the difference these antennas make. And now that I've got the omnidirectionals, I can actually walk around the controller and show you that it gives you a full 360 field of amplification of the signal. So pretty cool. All right, a couple of announcements this week, which are really, really exciting. GoPro has announced the Karma product. They've actually released the Karma product, and that's been a product that they've been working on for a couple of years. There have been a couple of delays around announcing it. There's been a lot of teaser information out there about what it's going to look like. And what I love about the product, and I think it's a really cool product, is that GoPro's kind of approaching things from a different perspective. Most drone manufacturers, DJI, Unique, 3DR, whoever you look at, Parrot, really promote the drone first and the videography aspects of it second. So they're really building a flying platform that's extremely sophisticated, in DJI's case with crash avoidance and all kinds of controls and special functions on it. And then the camera's in there, and it's a fantastic camera, but what they're doing with the Karma product is really building a platform that flies that you can attach your GoPro to. So they're actually building an entire system between the drone, and they've got a Karma grip product that you can actually pop the camera off the front of the drone and pop it onto the camera, to the Karma grip, that allows you to sort of have an image stabilization stick with you, much like the Osmo from DJI. So I really like their approach to this, because what they're doing is catering to their core audience of outdoors fanatics that love to use the GoPro cameras for fishing and surfing and driving or whatever, are now giving them two more systems that they can plug their GoPro cameras into. One will take them up in the air as a drone, and the other one will take them on again, a motion controlled or motion stabilized stick when they're doing walk around kind of videos. So I think it's a really interesting product. I am going to do a full review of the Karma as a separate clip as well, so I'm just kind of giving you a teaser here. But I also think there's another thing happening here. I've complained for some time about, not complained, but I've suggested for some time that the Phantom platform is a wonderful drone. It's a fantastic drone. And I'm not comparing the Karma to the Phantom. The Phantom, I believe, is a generation or two ahead of what the Karma can provide today. What I really like about the Karma, and this is what I've been complaining about with the Phantom 4, is that chassis is gigantic. So when I'm traveling, I always have to think, am I going to bring the drone, right? I don't want to have to have that thought. So with the Karma, what they've tried to do with that technology is actually design it to be small enough where the body is miniature and you can fold the arms in against it, and you can easily pack that in a backpack. And they actually sell it with a really, really nice backpack that gives you room for the drone, the battery, the handle, and all the stuff you'll need to fly that particular drone. So I think they did a really excellent job with that. On the heels of that, there's an announcement coming this week, actually tomorrow, from DJI about a new product they're releasing called the Mavic. Now, I may be mispronouncing that. It may be Mavic or Mavic. I'm not sure how they're going to pronounce it. But a very, very similar drone to what the Karma looks like. So they're releasing a drone that's smaller, that's foldable, that makes it, again, more portable. Now, there aren't a lot of details out there. There's a couple of pictures that have been leaked on the internet, and I'm not big on speculation, but my gut feel is that what DJI is trying to do with that product is introduce a less sophisticated drone, sort of below the Phantom line. So I expect the Mavic will be, I want to say an entry-level drone, but sort of a simpler drone. The Phantom line above it, the Inspire line above that, and then a professional series above that. So I think they'll have, you know, a gradation you can travel through as you get bigger into the hobby. What I really, really like about the Mavic product is it's a foldable drone. So a lot of people are saying, well, they did that in reaction to what Karma did with the GoPro product from the Karma product from GoPro. I don't believe that to be the case, because building a drone like the Mavic or the GoPro takes years. It's not something you can bang out in a weekend to respond to somebody else releasing a product. So I think this has been in development for quite some time. I'm really excited to see what it looks like. I've been begging for an entry ticket to the press conference tomorrow. So DJI, if you're watching this, I'm still available. I live in New Jersey. I could be in New York City in a couple of hours, so it'd be very easy for me to make that. So please send me an entry ticket for that. If I don't get the ticket, it's no big deal. I'll watch the press release or the press conference online like you guys will, and then I'll do a full review of it once it's released. I'll absolutely order one day one, so I'll have it, and I can actually do a bunch of overview videos and explanation videos about that product. What I really like about that, though, again, is the portability of it. I don't want to have that moment of decision of, do I take the drone with me or do I leave it home, because it's such a hassle to pack up a big case and drag it on an airplane. I think having a drone that has similar features to the Phantom for those cases where I just want to go out and shoot some simple stuff when I'm on vacation, home run for me. The other thing I want to talk about with those two drones, I think both of those drones introduce a new class of product. Now, I've heard the term selfie drone released, or selfie drone used to describe those releases. I don't know if I like that, but I think that that category of drone, which is bigger than a micro drone, but not quite a full-size drone, is going to be an expanding category for both of those companies. And I wouldn't be shocked at all if the other companies jumped in as well. And that category typically has a smaller body, better portability, maybe not quite as many features and not as expensive as their flagship drones. So keep an eye out for that. It might be kind of an interesting landscape to keep an eye on. The last thing I wanted to talk about today was insurance. Well, actually, the next to last thing is insurance. I get a lot of questions on the website about, should I have insurance, and where can I find insurance, and what's the best deal on insurance? And my suggestion to everybody that asks me is, if you're going to go out, especially if you're flying commercially, do not put your drone up without having it insured. It's absolutely crazy to me that people would put a drone up in a commercial situation that could crash, hurt somebody, break some property, damage people's cars or whatever without having insurance. Because honestly, the first time that happens, wherever it happens, you're going to have a partner. They're going to immediately launch a lawsuit, and it could be destructive. It could really destroy you. So my suggestion would be, if you're going to fly your drone, especially if it's going to be flying commercially, absolutely make sure you've got insurance on that. So then the question is, where do I find it? How expensive is it? So there's a bunch of traditional companies that offer drone insurance, very specific policies for both, you know, damage to property, damage to people, damage to the drone, and you can sort of adjust those policies on the fly. What I've stumbled across this last week is a new company that's actually taking it to the internet. They're going to give you an application that you can download. The company's name is Verifly, and they're a clever company in that they're providing sort of on-demand insurance. Instassurance, that's a term I'm coining, but Instassurance, that allows you to take your cell phone, open it up. Your cell phone immediately knows where you're located, so it's physically where you're standing. You can get an instant quote by touching one button that tells you it's going to cost you this much to fly for an hour. I think that's brilliant, and it's backed up by a full policy with one of the larger manufacturers, or one of the larger insurance companies that issue insurance. So I think tremendously cool idea. I'm going to do a full clip on it to give you sort of an idea what it looks like and what it costs and all the rest of that. But I love the idea, especially for guys that are just starting out, of having the ability, when they go out into a shoot, maybe they're only doing 4 or 5 shoots a month, to open up the application, buy the insurance they need, do the shoot, and just be done with it. Not have to worry about a $2,000, $1,500 payment every year for insurance if they're not going to really be doing that much commercial work. So pretty cool company. Company's name is Verifly, and I'll put a link below where you can actually go to the site and do a little investigation on it. I've got a clip coming again that's going to give you a better overview of that, so it'll give you a whole lot more detail. So that's kind of where we're at. The last thing I want to talk about is I still get a lot of questions on the website about what drone should I buy. I'm a brand new flyer. I love the hobby. I'm really interested in it. I want to get started. I don't know if I have a couple $100s to drop or even a couple $1,000s to drop because I'm not sure I'm going to like it. I also, these questions continue to say I'm not sure I can fly it well and I'm worried about crashing it. What should I do? So my suggestion again to anybody that's still thinking about getting into the hobby, just buy a drone. Just buy a cheap drone, buy an inexpensive, simple drone, get out in your backyard and fly the thing, right? It's the kind of hobby that I had no idea when I first started flying how immersive the hobby can be for so many reasons. If you can afford to get a drone with a camera, even better. But if you're just starting out, you can find drones that are $25, $50, $100 to sort of have that experience of putting a drone a couple hundred feet in the air and flying it around your backyard and getting good at the controls and understanding how to take off and how to land and how to sort of skim between trees and all the fun stuff you get to do with the drone. And again, I'm thrilled when I fly. It's just a different experience. I'm sure it's the same as skydivers feel and scuba divers feel and professional baseball players feel when you're doing something that takes you out of the moment into a sort of a special place to really enjoy it. And flying a drone for me is that exact experience. So my suggestion to them is always, don't save for the drone you think you want. Just find a drone you can afford, buy the drone, fly the drone. And worst case, if you decide you want to upgrade later, there's always a secondary market where people are looking for used drones at a reasonable discount. So if you flew it for 6 months or a year, you could probably sell the drone for half maybe or 2/3 of what it was worth when you bought it new, as long as you didn't crash it too many times and you kept it in good shape. And honestly, it's the kind of hobby where I bought a ton of drones in my day. I haven't sold any of them, right? So I've got them in the house, and every now and then I'll come out and I'll fly some of the early ones that I bought, and some of the ones that are less sophisticated. Or, we're having a party and I have some younger kids around and they want to learn how to fly, and I've always got those drones around to sort of teach them how to fly and have, introduce them to the hobby and the experience of flying a drone. So anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. Hopefully you guys find this stuff helpful. You've been very supportive of this channel. I really, really appreciate that. When I first started doing these vlogs, I had no idea if people would tune into them. I knew that they liked the reviews I did and sort of the overviews. The vlog's a new format for me, but this is our 3rd one, and the first 2 have been very, very well received. So I can't thank you enough for the support you give this channel. And again, as long as you guys find these things helpful, we'll keep making them. So thanks an awful lot again, and we'll see you soon. So happy droning.